welcome once again to the Pop Culture Yearbook. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm the real Manos.
Manos, we're taking our time machine. We're going back in time. What year are we going back to this time?
We are going to 1990, my friend.
1990. Not quite as far as last time.
Doesn't seem that far. But
Manos, here's some stuff that happened in the year 1990. The Hubble telescope was first launched. Time Warner formed from Time Inc. and Warner Communications. You graduated.
Yay! And I'm finally getting my life together.
You graduated from high school, and you're finally getting... And Milli Vanilli was stripped of their Grammy that year, Manos.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. I thought that came a little later than that.
Yeah, I did too, but nope, it was 1990. The big movies that year were Ghost, in the order of most money earned. Ghost, Home Alone, Pretty Woman, and number 4 was Jetsons the movie, Manos.
Oh, number 4? Of the year? Really?
Yeah, I know. That's kind of what I did. If I had drinking something, it would have been a spit take. I know. In fact, I still don't believe that.
I refuse to believe that.
I hope I'm wrong. Yeah.
I remember 1990 quite fondly. I think Dick Tracy made more than that.
That was also the year that Die Hard 2 came out, Ninja Turtles, Total Recall, and Back to the Future 3.
All right. I enjoyed 1990.
Oh, me too. Yeah, it was the year that, I was 6, so I did, because, there was a lot of great kid stuff, too, that year. That was the year Tiny Toons started.
Yes.
And it was the beginning of Fox Kids. In comics, it was also the beginning of Todd McFarlane's Torment storyline. And Spider-Man #1 was, at the time, the top-selling comic.
That's right. Nothing could touch Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man at the time. It was just a juggernaut.
And that year, Neil Gaiman won 3 Eisner Awards for Sandman. Big year.
It doesn't seem that long. It's 21 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. To me, it almost feels still kind of like, I don't know, yesterday. It's weird.
I'd love to say that, but,
Well, when did you graduate?
I was 6. 2003.
Wait until 2003 is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's going to be strange.
It feels strange to me now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only 8 years ago. Manos, what have you pulled from 1990?
Well, I pulled a little CD that I think both you and I enjoy. It's They Might Be Giants Flood.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
So did I.
Woohoo!
It finally happened!
Oh, I had a feeling this year we'd have the same choice. Because I know you and I love this CD.
If you don't know, Manos and I never talk about what we've chosen before the show. We like to be surprised, and so I had no idea this was going to happen.
I had an inkling this might happen, because you and I have both discussed to each other, I think mainly off camera. I don't think we've really talked about it on...
I don't think we've ever talked about They Might Be Giants on camera. In fact, I don't know if I have ever, more than just in passing, ever mentioned the fact that I'm a huge They Might Be Giants fan, and would go as far as to say that, I'm probably as much of a Giants fan as I am a Star Trek fan, which if you know me, you know that I like them very well.
And I just, they were one of the bands, back in high school that I started to notice, because, as a teenager, I listened to, all sorts of kind of mainstream kind of teenager stuff. And there was this building alternative movement in the mid to late 80s, and they were kind of part of it. They actually formed in 1982. And they had, I think it was Lincoln that came out first, and I think that was 89 or something.
No, They Might Be Giants was their first album.
Oh, They Might Be Giants.
Called the Pink Album.
Okay.
And I'm not sure the exact year, but Flood was 90.
Yeah, Flood was 90.
So they had, Anna Ng. I'm sorry, not Anna Ng. That was the single. That was the single from Lincoln.
Lincoln came, I think, in 89.
Yeah, it did.
Oh.
So it was, it was 86. Was the Pink Album.
Okay. Lincoln was when I personally discovered them, and that was just an amazing record, and I love Anna Ng. And it was the first record I ever gave to a girl, actually, because it's like I wanted to impress her with how cool and smart I was. But the album we're talking about specifically, and if you don't mind, I guess I'll go first and talk my reflections, and then you'll discuss it.
Sure, that's fine. I mean, or we can do it all at once. It doesn't really make any difference to me.
I guess so. I guess maybe form isn't really that important when it's.
Yeah, not when we're both doing the same thing. But yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, let's see. Yeah, Flood was actually. When I go into personal reflections, it was one of the first CDs I ever bought too, because I had these things called vinyl records as a teenager, and then I had cassette tapes for a little while. And my parents bought me a CD player in 89, 90. No, yeah, 90. And one of the first 3 CDs I got was They Might Be Giants' Flood. And it is, to me, one of the perfect albums I have ever bought. It's just a flawless album. I took a look at a couple of facts. I don't know if these are true or not, but it got them a gold record back in 1990.
Mm-hmm. Well, I knew it was at least platinum.
Yeah, and the biggest hits on this are Birdhouse on Your Soul and Istanbul, not Constantinople, and Particle Man.
Yeah, and Birdhouse is their biggest hit. That was their big MTV
that
video.
Was for MTV. And when you watch that video, I mean, you can tell they had some money behind it because they put some production value into it.
Mm-hmm. More so than their earlier videos. I don't know if you've watched their video discography.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, their early videos are crude but hilarious.
Mm-hmm. And kind of indicative of that time of the kind of the independent artists of the 80s, and there was kind of that kind of there was almost a big parody of maybe Atomic Age America that was going through a lot of alternative artists. And they definitely kind of exploited that.
Well, and they were very much that band for college kids.
Yeah, they were.
They were all over college radio. They didn't get a lot of airplay on regular radio.
Yeah, I remember being in drama club, and the cool kids in the drama club, the real freaky ones, were all about They Might Be Giants, and we'd sing them, in cars really loud. Let's see, but it's the did you know? The cover is from the Ohio River flood of 1937.
Mm-hmm.
And I just learned that doing research on the review. I think I really like doing this because I get to find out cool little nitpicks about stuff I've loved for decades.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
And I guess my favorite. I can't pick a really favorite. Maybe it's Birdhouse. Some of their songs are just. If you're not familiar with They Might Be Giants, their songs are generally fun. They're like usually very catchy and smart, and sometimes the lyrics can be abstract.
The name of the game with them is melodic, and their tunes are really melodic, and then they usually just do something really clever you're not going to expect with lyrics.
Mm-hmm. And you know what I also love about this particular album is there's a couple of tracks on here that are fairly serious.
Oh yeah.
Specifically, Your Racist Friend, which I always thought was an amazing title.
Yeah, it is.
And it's just that. It's him getting mad at somebody who's just kind of trying to play off their racist friend talking about trash at a party or something like that. And also the song. What was it? Lucky Ball and Chain. I always enjoyed that track. With the guy who let his relationship end, and he thought he was being a big guy, and now he's regretting it because now he's all alone, and he realized he made a mistake by letting that girl go.
And that's a really good example of some of the subtleties that they do with their music, where they've got this. They do 2 verses. And you get to the end of the first verse, and there's a line about, if I remember right, there's a line about like a gunshot, and then you get just a drum beat after that, and then in the second verse, there's a line that has nothing to do whatsoever with the gunshot, and then instead of the drum thing, you get a gunshot. Awesome.
Oh, and we haven't really, let's see, the names are John and John Flansburgh and John Linnell. And how many times have you seen them in concert?
I've seen them 6 times.
I've seen them 4 times, I think. I saw them a whole bunch of times in the 90s, and I just recently Back in 2008, 2007.
It's been a couple of years since I've been because they haven't been out in Kansas City in a while. But for a couple of years they were coming here frequently and playing two nights in a row. So
wow, 2 nights in a row. That's cool.
Mhm.
I felt pretty fortunate they'd hit Norfolk. I don't know, every other year or something like that for a while.
They play the pageant a lot in St. Louis, and so if they don't come to Kansas City, I usually try to drive to St. Louis to see them.
Mm-hmm. Now they've occasionally hit the Norva, and I definitely want to see them again. And I mean, anytime they come back, I'm going to see them.
The last time I saw them, they played Flood in its entirety, which is something they do every now and again because it's their biggest and most famous album, and that is quite a show. And like, it's not the only thing they do. They play 2 sets before they do Flood.
Wow,
they play a bunch of other stuff, and then they do Flood straight through with no stops.
So great. Hey, there's some songs, people listening probably aren't as familiar with the band, or maybe think they're not familiar, but
oh, absolutely.
They probably would be surprised that the influence. We've heard their music in quite a few parts.
Mm-hmm.
They did the theme song for Malcolm in the Middle,
right?
And let's see, where else are their music popped up?
They had a song on, of all things, the Power Rangers soundtrack, in the Power Rangers movie soundtrack.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Sense Around. And 2 of the tracks from Flood appeared in a Tiny Toons episode.
That's right. Particle Man.
And Istanbul.
Mm-hmm. And I think they showed Istanbul on Nickelodeon a couple of times. I'm not sure in what context, though.
They did the. I think they've got the theme for the Daily Show, which is just kind of a generic, kind of opening news theme. But that's them. There's a lot of weird little TV things here and there like that they've done that people wouldn't know. Much more recently, they had a song featured in Coraline.
Yes, that's right. The Other Father does a song dedicated to Coraline, and instead of John Oliver, who's doing the voice of the character,
all of a sudden Linnell's voice becomes him, and it's weird, but it's awesome.
And their voices are similar enough for you to kind of let it go. I mean, that song is so great, and it doesn't last anywhere near as long as you want it to.
No, not even kind of.
Also, Birdhouse in Your Soul made an appearance in the TV show Pushing Daisies.
Oh yeah, that's right, it did. And I remember watching that episode, and he starts subtly she starts suddenly saying the lyrics, and I was like, oh, this is amusing, because of course I knew what they were talking about. And then a scene later, they start singing it, and I didn't think they would.
And I remember Lindsay was a huge fan of that show. I watched it periodically, and then she brought that to my attention. Like, oh hey, they're singing, They Might Be Giants on Pushing Daisies. Let's see, this album, I mean, would you say this is your favorite They Might Be Giants album?
It's second or third for me. It changes every so often because, of course they're still like the most hardworking band there is, and still keep putting out really good music. They had a lull for a while where there were a couple albums that weren't great, but The Else, which they put out 2 years ago, was brilliant and is, again, their second or third best album. It's really hard for me to put a number one. It's between Else, Flood, and Apollo 18 for me.
Mm-hmm. Apollo 18 is amazing.
It's a brilliant album.
And I love the Fingertips.
Fingertips is amazing live.
Oh, yeah. I think you mentioned this to me last time we were talking about They Might Be Giants.
They just go through the whole thing.
I've never seen them do it live. I don't know. I guess I keep seeing them on nights when they don't feel like doing anything. Just well, it's true.
That's sad because they've been amazing every time I've seen them.
And that's the thing. They are amazing when I see them, when they're just doing their basic tracks.
Uh-huh.
Oh man. This is my favorite of the They Might Be Giants albums. And remember how I mentioned Tori Amos' Little Earthquakes is my favorite album?
Right.
This is my second favorite album of all time.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't have a list outside of these two. I don't have a third obvious choice.
Sure.
If I did, it would probably be maybe Matthew Sweet's Girlfriend. album from, I think, 93 or something like that. Most of my favorite albums are from the 90s. Go figure.
My thing with the Giants is that, I mean, I've just listened to them so much that, like, it changes every so often. The thing with Flood is it has some of my favorite songs, but it's not my favorite album in, like, how it listens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's really good. I think Apollo 18 is maybe a tad better. But that's just me. My wife is as big of a Giants fan as I am, and her favorite album is John Henry, which is really crazy.
That's crazy talk.
It's crazy talk. No, I mean that's a good album too, but it's one of their only albums that there's a couple songs I don't even like at all.
Oh.
But yeah, every track on Flood is really good. And what's interesting about Flood is that their first two albums have a lot more like weird kitschy type songs.
Mm-hmm.
And Flood has some of that too, but it sounds, I don't want to say it sounds more mainstream, but it sounds more like fluid. It's got more of a cohesive sound track to track, and it also sounds more polished.
Yeah, maybe I would not say mainstream. Maybe I would say possibly just more maturing over the last couple albums. Like maybe they'd kind of figured out, who they were really. And
I think there's also some things as simple as just the sound quality gets better, like because they really are just two guys. Mm-hmm. And they get other folks to come in and do trumpet and trombone parts and things like that. They do a lot of things with like well, not anymore, but I mean they used to do a lot of things with like drum machines and stuff like that. They're a full band now, but back then they were still just two guys. I think Apollo 18 was their last album where it was just the two of them, and then after that they became a full band.
Mm-hmm. Quick, I know we're not talking about Apollo 18, but what's your favorite track on that album?
On Apollo 18?
Yeah.
That's hard. It's between Turn Around, which is just a really fun song. It's really folk songy. I like their folk song type stuff. And Statue Got Me High.
I love Statue Got Me High. I also love
Brilliant
Evil
song.
Twin.
Yeah.
And Spider.
Yep.
I know it's just a simple, goofy little piece.
Everybody likes Spider.
Oh man, that's the best. And I would love to turn to people and say, I promise not to kill you.
Oh! A lot of people's favorite songs on Flood, besides Birdhouse, people talk about Whistling in the Dark a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really fun song. It's another really fun concert song, and that's that song where they'd come out on stage, and I never saw them do this, I don't think, but especially back in the day where they'd have Flanzy would have his big stick, and they'd have that big drum part, and he'd just slam his stick into the floor.
I've seen them do that.
Every time they get to that part, whistling in the door, and then he keeps dropping that. That's a really fun song. Letterbox is fun because it's so hard to sing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really hard to sing that song.
I also enjoy Dead a lot, actually.
Oh yeah, me too.
It's one of those songs that kind of maybe gets overshadowed by some of the others, but man, when that track starts playing, you're just into it.
It's neat because the music is so minimalistic, but the lyrics are really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got some of their more like profound sounding things, and then you have to stop and think about whether or not it actually is profound. Now it's over, I'm dead, and I haven't done anything that I want, or I'm still alive and there's nothing I want to do.
Man, I want to listen to this album again right now.
I will never say the word procrastinate again. I'll never see myself in the mirror with my eyes closed.
Oh, man. This is some of the best work. And also, we have yet to mention Particle Man.
Oh, yeah.
In depth, because it plays to sort of almost a slowed down version of the Spider-Man 60s theme in a way.
Which is ironic because the second to last track, which is the same as their band name, They Might Be Giants, in fact includes that song.
Yeah. And I always was partially irritated at Sam Raimi for never asking They Might Be Giants to do the Spider-Man theme.
Yeah.
It's like, oh great, we get Michael Bublé and Aerosmith, but you don't get They Might Be Giants.
Yeah, who obviously love that theme and use it.
And Sam Raimi always kind of looked a little bit like the third member of the band to me.
I've never thought about that. That's weird. The Giants are interesting because they have a lot of really amazing, they have a ton of songs. It's ridiculous how big just their whole repertoire is. It would be very difficult to have everything they've ever made because it's not all on albums. But a couple of their most popular songs ever are covers. Mm-hmm. And Istanbul being one of them.
Yeah. I would imagine that is so popular by them, I think a lot of people wouldn't even know.
I think most people think that's their song. And they got it famous.
Yeah. And it does kind of play like one of their songs.
Oh, it does. It sounds just like the stuff that they write, which is, it's got a major accordion part, and they're known for their accordion. And,
I'm just looking at the lyrics right now and just like, all these songs are just so great. And,
one of my favorite songs, we haven't talked about it yet, from Flood is We Wanna Rock.
Oh, yeah?
Everybody wants a rock to wind a piece of string around. That's one of the more profound tracks for me, and that was one of the songs that really got me really interested into the Giants. I'll mention real quick a little bit of my personal history with the Giants. My stepdad was always really a big fan of theirs, and I got into them when he and my mom got married because I just saw John Henry lying around one day, and I put it in and started listening to it. And that was weird because I'd never heard anything like it, and it's also kind of a weird album for them, so it was a strange place to start. But then I went kind of backwards and listened to Apollo 18, and then I talked to Jeff and asked him to make me like a compilation tape. And so he just pulled what he thought were the best 3 or 4 songs off of all their albums up to that point. At that point, we'd only gotten up to Factory Showroom. And he put stuff up to John Henry because he didn't like Factory Showroom, so I don't think he had hardly anything from that album. But except for potentially James K. Polk, which is an amusing song. But anyway, and so I don't know. I just started getting into them, and I think he just ended up putting the right songs on that tape that really kind of spoke to me. And We Wanna Rock was on there, and that song is very much about going with the grain and just doing whatever the crowd tells you to do. And I don't know, that meant something to me.
I also enjoy Whistling in the Dark so much. I can probably at a moment's notice just start singing that. Maybe because it has it's kind of minimalistic, actually, as far as the instruments and is concerned. A woman came up to me and said, "I'd like to poison your mind with wrong ideas that appeal to you, though I am not unkind." Oh my God! I could listen to that all day.
One of my wife's favorite Giant songs of all time is "Road Movie to Berlin."
Yeah.
Which is, I would have to say, while Flood is maybe not my favorite Giants album, I think that is maybe the best last track they've ever had. It's just a really good closer to an album. I think a lot about first tracks and last tracks. Yeah, on albums, how they bookend and like the Giants more recently have had kind of a track record of like they put what I think is like the lamest song on the album first, and then it gets better as it goes along. Where like it's not a bad track, they rarely make bad tracks, but where it's just sort of like it just sort of sits there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Flood, besides their little theme from Flood at the beginning, opens with Birdhouse. Like it opens with what most people would say is the best song in the album. Mm-hmm. And so it's really interesting. Also, part of the reason I felt like I had to pick Flood is just because the date 1990 is in the lyrics of the theme from Flood.
That's right.
It's a brand new album
from 1990.
They Might Be Giants, brand new album, Flood.
Hey, do you want to sing that with me right now?
Oh,
like the whole...
Sure. Yeah. That sounds good.
Okay, let me know when you're ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Why is the world in
love again? Why are we marching hand in hand? Why are the ocean levels rising up? It's a brand new record for 1990. They Might Be Giants, brand new album. Blood. You kept cutting in and out there. I don't know if we picked all that up.
I hope so. Hope that worked.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I will re-record that with you anytime. That's
Well, we're well over what we usually do here. Do you have any final words on Flood?
if you haven't picked up any of their albums, if you've never heard of them, investigate this band. They're fantastic. Start, I think, with Flood, but
Flood is absolutely the best place to start.
yeah.
I would agree with that. I think a lot of people would consider the first album in Lincoln maybe a little out there to start with. Where like if you've listened to Flood, and it's easier to go back to those. But starting with something like Chess Piece Phase, there's just some things that are like a little strange for people. But I mean, I love them. But
Yeah, I think probably out of the early albums, Flood has aged the best.
well, Manos, I guess we're leaving 1990.
Oh, I know. I'll miss it.
Where They Might Be Giants has just taken over the whole year.
It was the only thing worth it, right? Outside of it. So it's like, what, are you gonna, do Dick Tracy or, come on.
I thought of all kinds of stuff, but it all went back to that.
That's right. But, hey, we're gonna get going, so we're gonna have to come back, and, hey, next time we're gonna have to talk about a new year. So, Captain, what year we're gonna investigate next time?
Well, next time we're going back to one of my favorite years in history, 1966.
That's right.
What a great year for popular culture.
That's when everything was just coming together.
That year changed everything. So, 66 next time. And thanks a lot for listening to us in the Pop Culture Yearbook. I'm Captain Logan.
And I am the real Manos.
And we'll see you again next time.